Did you know you can zoom in and out of any Blender UI using the control middle mouse button? Or maybe if you're lost in the shader editor, you can just press Ctrl F to jump to any one of the nodes you're looking for. Did you want to know how to get silky smooth zoom in and zoom out in Blender? Or maybe you understand the use of the blend 1 file that gets created every time you save your project? Maybe you want to know how to get an Eevee view mode within cycles? Or maybe you just want to optimize Blender and make your final renders look good. All this and much more coming right up. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another one of these tips and tricks videos that you see on the internet, where you hear a shit ton of information for 20 minutes straight, and you obviously don't register anything to your memory, but you still feel like you've learned a lot. But still, sometimes you look at one of these tips and tricks videos and you find something really good, like life-altering good. That's the best case scenario for both you and me. And if not that, it will be a lot of, hey, I knew that. Why don't I use that? I should use that. Those are the best 2 reactions I aim to get from you from this video. So with that spirit, let's begin. Let's start with some general workflow tips. Did you know you could just Ctrl-C and Ctrl-V models in between blend files? I remember when I learned that. I felt so fucking stupid, like how did I not know that? But how did I just not try that myself? So if you just got to know that, you're as stupid as we were someday. So welcome to the club. Now, staying in the same lane, say you imported a model into your scene, and as it happens a lot of times, it gets lost in the abyss of the Blender greenness, and you cannot find where the model just got imported. The best way to get it to the center is just go to Object, set Origin to Geometry, then press Alt-G, which will bring the currently selected object right to the middle of your scene. Say you don't want it in the middle but around a particular object. Instead of Alt-G, I just Shift select the object I want it around and press Shift-S and select Selection to Active. And that brings it right where I want. Now, a lot of times when you import a model from, say, Sketchfab, it most likely has a lot of triangulated topology, which is not great for Blender. You cannot loop select anything. You can have subdivision problems or maybe even shading problems. I think the best way I've found to fix that is pressing spacebar and searching for tries to quads while the object is in edit mode, and boom. A lot of the times that is enough to fix all the triangulation issues, but a lot of times it doesn't work at all. So in that case, you either learn to live with it or invest in a good retopology handle. Now, staying in the edit mode, did you know about the Shift-G shortcut? It gives a shit ton of selection options, like select similar normals or material or coplanar. It changes based on what mode you're in. It shows different options in the edge select mode and different options in the vertex layer. Pretty cool. And while we are in here, did you know you can simultaneously have 2 selection modes active, like both vertex mode and face select mode active at the same time? God, if I had a bug for every time I needed that feature but didn't remember that it existed. By the way, Shift-G also works in the object mode. Say you have a lot of different objects grouped together and you want to select the children or the parents separately, or the grandparents, or the uncles and aunts, and the pet dogs and pet cats, whatever the hell you want. Shift-G will select it for you. But let's get back to the edit mode for a moment again. I didn't know this until recently, but you can press Ctrl F or Ctrl E or Ctrl V to get different face, edge, or vertex options. Like, what the hell is weld edges into face? Or what the hell is poke faces? Poke faces? What the hell is that? And very easy to remember too. Ctrl F, Ctrl V, and Ctrl E. This is the one and only time when shortcuts make any sense in Blender, so cherish it. Now, we can't not talk about the Alt-T shortcut right now, which gives additional extruding options, especially extrude faces along normals. People who already know this, remember when you learned about this shortcut, how revolutionary this was to your modeling workflow, where it changed everything, right? And people who didn't know about it, now you do. And your life is gonna change now. You're welcome. And talking about life-changing shortcuts, let's not forget about L. It's not an L at all, if you know what I mean. It's a W for sure. Right, Gen Z? You know what I mean. So in edit mode, if you press L anywhere on the mesh, it will select anything that's linked to that face. Based on what you have selected in this, hit a little menu right here. It's a great way to select particular broken parts in a mesh. Like maybe you downloaded a jacket model from Sketchfab and you just wanted to select the arm of this jacket. Just hover over any of the faces of the arm and press L. It might select all the linked faces right then, but go through this list of options. More often than not, one of these will work and you'll have selected that particular part of a model. Maybe the arm, maybe the collar, maybe this flap. It will just work. And you won't have to manually select them if the mesh is properly modeled, saving a bunch of your time. Now let's talk about the Ctrl M shortcut. How many times have you wanted to flip a particular thing in Blender? Like this robot leg I had, I wanted to duplicate it and then flip it. What I used to do was scale it on the x-axis, press -1 to flip it, and sometimes that would screw up the whole rotation, so you had to rotate it back 180 degrees, and it was a complete mess. Enter Ctrl M, duplicate the leg, press Ctrl M, select the axis you want to flip it in. In my case, it's X, so I press X, and it's flipped. That's it. That's all you have to do to flip it. 4 years I've been using this -1 thing. For 4 years. Are you kidding me? Anyway, let's talk about the Control L shortcut. That lets you link really important things in between objects. Like say you have a lot of objects you want to apply the same material onto. You just select them all and then keep the main object that has the material active and press Ctrl L and select Link Materials. And you're done. You can also copy modifiers in between objects and a lot more with this shortcut. Okay, now aligning things is always a pain in the ass in Blender. People usually use this magnet thing with God knows what options and it rarely ever works. What I found is this copy attributes menu add-on that comes pre-packed in Blender does a much better job. So say you had a screw you wanted to align on a surface. You select the screw, you select the plane, press Ctrl C which activates this new add-on menu, and then you choose copy location and then copy rotation. And the screw just aligns itself to the surface. Much simpler, in my opinion. Speaking of pain in the ass, moving the origin point of any object in Blender is a serious pain in the ass. What most people do is place the 3D cursor where they want the origin point, then right click on the object, go to Set Origin, and select Origin to 3D Cursor. But guess what? Placing the 3D cursor is also a pain in the ass in Blender. So I've got two solutions for that. Both of them in the end panel. First, in the view section, you'll find the 3D cursor drop down, which has location sliders for the 3D cursor. So you can precisely place the 3D cursor wherever you want. That is a lifesaver because the 3D cursor can do a lot of things in Blender, only if it's actually at the right place. And now it is. And if not that, go to the tool section and check this affect only origins checkbox, and now you can precisely move the origin point directly. No need for the 3D cursor anymore. Now let's cover some miscellaneous tips. Starting with the image slots in the rendering tab. You know about it, but you never use it, do you? You just select a slot and render the image and now use arrow keys to flip between them. How are you not using it? It's incredible. Use it. I also have a separate tab for specifically making notes within Blender itself. I just made an extra tab, turned it into a script editor, and made a new file and checked this shield checkbox that makes sure this file isn't deleted once you exit Blender, and just saved that starter file so that every time I open a new Blender project, I get a new empty notes tab with it. Now a lot of new users don't know this, but you can change multiple text field values all together at the same time. Just drag onto the fields all at once and you can change them together rather than changing them one by one. A lot of new users also don't know this, but you can actually perform arithmetic operations within these numeric fields as well, which also comes pretty handy. And finally, when sliding through such a field, hold shift to reduce the interval of change that occurs in that field. Sometimes you don't want to jump values that quickly and just want to play around in the decimals. That's when shift dragging these fields is pretty useful. Now, last but not the least, the most underrated feature in Blender, I think, is the Q Quick Favorites button. You right click on anything in Blender and choose Add to Quick Favorites. And now press Q in your scene and you have that option one click away. And what's crazy is it works separately in every workspace. Sculpting has a separate one, UV editing has a separate one, and shading has a separate one. That means no more looking for the color ramp. You just assign it to the quick favorites and it's just right there in front of you. And now that we are in the shading space, let's talk about some shading tips and tricks. Did you know if you go to the material view drop down and select these two checkboxes, you can get the EV render view right here in Cycle, and it looks exactly the same. So in case you ever wanted to test out the lighting in Cycles but didn't want to render the whole scene out, just turn this EV mode on and do it super quickly here, because lights and shadows render so quickly in EV. And while we are in this isometric scene, let me tell you how important recalculating normals is. For example, in this room, these walls are the inside faces of a cube. So if you apply bump map on this wall without recalculating the normals, the bump will be reversed. What needs to be protruding out will be inserted in, which is obviously not good. So just select these inner walls and press Shift N, and then in this tiny menu, make sure this inside checkbox is checked and you're all good to go. Keep this in mind if you intend to do a lot of interior and architectural renders. Let's talk about UV maps for a while. Did you know you can apply two UV maps on the same model with different UV projections as well? Say in this big character, I want to add this logo on his jersey. What I can do is make a new UV map for the jersey model, go to the front view and do a projection from view. Now if you go to the UV editing tab and select the two UV maps, you'll see the two different projections. And now you can just adjust the second projection to fit this logo. Isn't that great? I didn't know that for the longest time. Hope it helps somebody. Now while you're here, let me tell you this as well. If your node trees are getting a little messy, try the Ctrl H shortcut to minimize most nodes to the only slot that is being used in it. That can help reduce the clutter a little bit. Another thing that happens a lot is you lose all your nodes in this dotted black abyss that is the shader editor. and no matter how or where you scroll, you can never find them. A quick way to find the direction at least is pressing S, which will bring the scaling cursor thing, which will tell you at least where to go. But much better than that is just press Shift F, which helps you find nodes in your node tree. Just select any one of them from the list that appears and Blender will take you right to it. And lastly, did you know you could just drag and drop materials from this area of the material tab to any object you wanted? What the hell, there's so many of these tiny UI things that we don't even know exist in Blender that could make our lives so much easier. It's crazy. And there are still a ton more tips and tricks that I couldn't fit into this 10-minute video, because nobody's gonna wanna watch a 20-minute long tips and tricks tutorial, right? So what I did was divide it into 2 parts, so our attention deficit brains can actually store some information from this video. So check that video out when you're done with this one. I'll hopefully see you there. Thank you.